Okay, here we are, day 2 of 31 days of AR, VR, and EDU. And I have a really special tool for you today. So you probably heard a lot about the metaverse lately, especially with Facebook making so many of their announcements about switching their name to Meta, as well as their headsets going from the Oculus Quest to now Meta Quest. So as you're wondering what is going on with the metaverse, really, we're not there yet. But we're approaching it, and we're starting to see elements of the metaverse already start to appear in tools that we're going to share today, like Spatial XR. So what we're going to be looking at is how Spatial XR works for you and your students. So what is Spatial XR? It's really a web or an app-based experience for your students to be able to join in and collaborate. And you've probably seen some of these elements in the past, and some of them have worked and some of them have really fallen short. A lot of the issues you're going to face are going to be dealt with privacy. It's going to be dealt with appropriate content, what's happening in these spaces. So what I love about Spatial XR is it does give you a private access to these collaboration spaces that allow your students to connect and learn together in these metaverse type experiences. So inside of Spatial XR, some of the parts that I really love that I'm going to spotlight for you is one, that there is a free component. So you can actually go in and create these spaces with your students. And there's quite a bit that you could do, and it is available to you for free. So because of that, you are able to immediately jump into this tool, check it out, have your students participate, and then explore it without ever really having to pay for a subscription. Now, the subscriptions are really for those users that are using it on a corporate level or a more elaborate level, but really for our classroom uses, I would say free is your best option. There are a couple things that you can do inside of these spaces. You can upload content, you can upload documents and even 3D objects. You could bring in videos and pictures. You can even bring in animated 3D objects. So the way that you would approach this is really personalized for your classroom and your specific subject and grade level for your students. So there is another component to Spatial XR, and that's the augmented reality side of it. So while you can go into these VR type experiences on your computer, on your mobile device, and even in a VR headset, you also have the option of seeing and experiencing this space in augmented reality. And what I mean by that is in VR, we're seeing all of the scene around us. We can see the individuals in the scene. We can see the objects that we've loaded. We can interact inside of this VR type 360 space. However, on the augmented reality side, I could bring out my mobile app and I can actually see all the participants in the room in my space. So it gives me a chance to see all of these individuals actually standing around, for instance, in my office. So it is a really cool way of collaborating and essentially moving further into this realistic experience that we'll have with individuals in that collaboration that will feel much more realistic. So as we talk about some of the issues you may run into, you may find that the audio will be a problem. And a lot of that really has more to do, not so much on the app side, but on the web side. So if you're using Spatial XR through your browser, then you may run into some of the audio features that they have available and the dropping and the pausing. And that is normal. And a lot of it can be prevented by using headphones and everyone using headphones. There are benefits to having the audio built into Spatial XR. You could bring in some of the components of hearing your voice, and your avatar actually mimics you talking. And you also have the option of being able to have some audio features like audio fall off, where if somebody is walking away, they are not going to hear you as well. And then to some point, they can't hear you at all. So really that audio feature to be able to give that realistic experience for the end user. But you'll probably want to consider that everybody will have headphones. Another option is not using audio at all and not having those pauses or delays. They also have some really great integrations. So if you want to bring in some files directly from your Google Drive, for instance, or even from Microsoft 365, I even noticed that they had an integration with Slack. So really moving the way that we already collaborate and moving that into a space in the metaverse type experience, I think is a great transition. One of the really cool pro features that you may want to consider is the live speech translation. So if you are talking or collaborating with other people that speak different languages, this is a great opportunity to actually see a live speech translation taking place. They have over 70 languages. Now, this is really for the VR headset app or the mobile app as of right now, but what a cool way to be able to collaborate globally with people around the world that give you an opportunity to hear and see that translation take place live. So there are some really cool things happening in Spatial XR, but one of my very favorite features about Spatial XR is the 3D scanning using LiDAR technology. So what do I mean by that? So I could take 3D objects at any time and upload them into the scene. However, I can do a live scan in my mobile app and actually take items that are in my space, like taking a mouse and 3D scanning that into the space that we're in. And so if I want to use my mobile app, I then can open up the scanning feature and I can walk around that object, and that object then appears in my virtual reality meeting space. It will also be available to me in the augmented reality space. So to be able to see how this 3D scanning, bringing live objects actually into the spaces with us while we're collaborating and doing that live, I can't even believe how far ahead we've jumped using Spatial XR. So there are so many great things that you can do inside of Spatial XR. And some of those things can be done through presentations. They can actually show your face and mimic in your avatar with expressions and the way and the direction you're looking, as well as some of the things that you can do in presentations with your live video. So Spatial XR is an open door for your students to be able to collaborate in this immersive space. And I'm excited to share all of the tools that we are going to explore for the rest of the month. And I can't wait to see how you take Spatial XR to the next level, bringing this to your students and allowing them to explore these immersive spaces. So thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.